Welcome to the Ring Masters Podcast, Chicago's most trusted source to educate, guide, and give you tips and advice for choosing and purchasing the right diamonds, custom engagement rings, and wedding bands. Here's our expert design chief, Kurosh Daneshkar, and our diamond experts, Maury Taffershy and Terry Hanley. This podcast is brought to you by Chicago's own Wedding Bands and Company, where we believe marriage is too important for ordinary jewelry.
Here we are in our podcast about engagement ring and buying a jewelry in general, but mostly in this podcast we're going to talk about diamond engagement ring and purchasing a diamond. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kurosh Daneshkar. I'm a chief designer of Wedding Bands Company. I do designing engagement ring for more than 28 years now, and I started when I was 17 years old, so you can figure out how old I am. Here I have Terry Hanley. Terry, go ahead and give an introduction.
Well, let's see. So I have been doing this, talk about how old I am. I've been doing this for a long time, and
give us kind of the timing, like a little bit of how long.
Actually 45 years, getting to be very quickly. I fell into it at a very young age, early teens, and fell in love with the industry and have been doing it ever since. Studied at the Gemological Institute in New York City, came back to Chicago. I've been here in Chicago operating in the jewelry district, primarily in the jewelry district for close to 40 years, 30 some years. So my real love, interest, forte has always been the gemstones, diamonds, and colored stones, I absolutely love what I do, and dealing with, as I always say, I deal with beautiful things and happy people. So what more can I ask for in life? So.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And here we have Mr. Maury Taffershy. Maury, go ahead and give an introduction. We appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Maury Taffershy. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but then I've been in this industry on the wholesale side and the retail side almost 13 years. And my background was software engineering and finance before I came to this industry about 13 years ago. So I was doing that for almost 20 years of my life. And then my passion is to help people use my knowledge as long as I've earned it and as much as I've earned it in the last 13 years in this industry, and to help people to find what they love. And I'm really passionate about it because I want to help out people who don't know anything about these diamonds, engagement ring, gemstones, and as much as I know it, I would try to help them to get the piece that they need for life.
Thank you so much for all of you. And really here our goal is in this podcast to give some value to our listener, and we understand we kind of gonna maybe expand to a purchase. You will do it hopefully one time in your life, but it is for me, I always say marriage is too important for ordinary jewelry. This piece is a little bit different than any other purchases you guys gonna do in your life, because it is symbol of commitment. It's based something you're gonna start a relationship and family with it, and it has to be done right, and then we have to think of all the aspects of this purchase as far as what is the best idea, as far as the diamond, as far as the design, and what she cared, what she loved, how she can wear it. So through this podcast, every day we're gonna pick a part of it, and we're gonna expand, and we're gonna explain how it is this. For the first podcast, we are going to talk about what we should do before buying an engagement ring. So I have so often people, what they will do, they are going to ask friends, hey, where do you buy your engagement? How you do it? And this is also it is important who you ask, isn't it? Like, who is your teacher, who you ask to give you right advice. That's important. And also, where do you get your information, where do you read, and what you do to grab those information. Terry, go ahead and expand on this.
Yeah, it's sitting here kind of digesting all of that line of thinking. It is, I think looking around the room, look around the room of your group of friends. There's always going to be those that have dove very, very deeply into the process. There are always going to be those that just went out and bought it on a whim and were done with it. So, but talk to them and see, kind of see what your buddies have gone through, the process they have gone through, and how they do it. Probably in terms of what do you do to get started on this, my strongest recommendation is watch her. Watch the way she reacts to her friends' rings. Note the styles that capture her eye. Note the shapes of the diamond that captures her attention. Watch her and how she reacts. The element of surprise here, in my opinion, and the romance is the most important aspect of it. So kind of try to play on that. Try to make this something incredibly special and something incredibly exciting for her. But the best way for you to kind of gauge that, because once you get into the diamond process, that's all analytical stuff. And most guys I've experienced and worked with over the years, they get into that part of it and they love analyzing this stuff to death. But the picking of the mounting, picking of the design, the look of the piece can be agonizing because, most of you guys want to do it perfectly. And so, watch how she responds. Get some insight as to what she likes and doesn't like, and so on.
Very good. Thank you. Maury, go ahead. I want to hear your opinion.
It's pretty much almost exactly the same thing as Terry said, but then, he's right. I would always tell them exactly the way I listen to my clients, because I say that whatever is important for you, it's important for me. So it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the value. It could be a $5,000 engagement ring. It could be a $50,000 engagement ring. But whatever makes you and her happy, it makes me happy. But in the process, I always ask him that if you're a lawyer, if I come to your office, I'm going to put all my life in your hands because I don't know anything about the law. So it's your job to direct me. So when you come to me for this matter, then I would expect you and respect that if you do that put your hand, put all the information in, it's in my hand. So it's my job to do the job for you. And that is going to be regarding the size, color, clarity, value, design, anything that you communicate with me correctly, I'm going to put the right design on her finger.
So I want to just add this. If you hear it was a train in the background, and this is, I want you guys see we are recording this not in the studio or anything, in our store. And this is exactly if you come into our store, we sit in the office, we go through showing diamond, and we get to all the detail.
I think we should add, located in the heart of the jewelry district in downtown Chicago. We're probably on the prime corner of the jewelry industry here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
The real sounds you hear in the background are the real sounds of the big city. Yes. So welcome to it.
Yeah. So one thing I want to add to this, we were talking about to ask friend and see what people. The people, friend around you, what they wear, what they do, and I often hear from people, and they're saying it's she don't care about any of this, and she's not materialism, and I understand, I respect that. It's as like Maury said, it's not about how much money you spend, it's how much you care. That's the most important part of this purchase before you start. And I think for a girl who is going to trust a person, or for a partner who's gonna trust that person today, gonna start a life, it is important to see what you're gonna do when you are in the pinnacle of your love. So you're right here, very passionate, and you love to get something beautiful for her. what you did, how you did it. So it is important that you put a little bit more of a study, be cautious, and then you see what you planning to purchase and present to her. But one thing I often see also, people, they lose the direction. I remember always I had a teacher was giving me this example is, and he was saying, if you somebody was going to be in the race to help somebody was in the, okay, I have to remember that. It's a story about a race which a person was racing to help a cause, but fundraising, something like that, like a running, and he so much concentrate to won this competition, to be a best runner, and so much did, he totally forgot about the cause. So I have to find that story is like, it is important to be what we are trying to reach. A goal is going to be to see what is our goal. And I think a purchase and engagement ring, the goal is to make her happy, and like you guys said it, make her happy and create a piece. Anytime she look at it, she's going to remember you, she's going to remember the commitment, she's going to remember that joyful love and beginning of the relationship. So I'm going to also say another story is I had a person who just came to me and says, how do I start designing a ring? I don't want she's going to find out. And I told her, what about you start taking some picture from her, what she wear and what she is using as a jewelry, or even other pieces you think she has a connection.
Her style.
Yes.
Her style.
And he went and come back with 30 pictures, and they were so perfect, because I had picture from her handbag, some jewelry, some custom jewelry, even clothes and even furniture. I remember she said, this is something grandma give it to her, and stuff like this. As a designer, I look at all this thing and I kind of see them, and then I inspire to do something else. And this is going to be one of the way you can do it. So if you really want to keep that very secret and have create something unique, it's a good idea to you start gathering pieces she like, even if they're not piece of jewelry, and take it to a designer who can give you some option and idea to create a piece to is going to be connected to what she like. So Terry, would you like to add a story about that?
Well, my favorite projects are when the guys come in with a definite basic overall look at the piece. They want something very antique, something very unique, something very unusual, very contemporary. Once they kind of have that definite direction down, that's always it. And that tells me that they are focused on what this is going to look like, and what the investment in terms of time and energy and heart that they're going to be putting into the piece. It's fun to see the guys get excited about it, the design process. It's fun to see them be very interested in it, and engaged, no pun intended, but engaged in the process. That gives me fuller satisfaction, just knowing that this is that important to them.
Maury?
Pretty much I would say like 7 or 8 people out of 10, the guys, when they walk in by themselves, they have no clue what you want. So That's why I always say that we have to most rely to, if you have listened to her, if you have seen any pictures online or any of her friends, if you can send me those pictures, we can use them as a base comparison, and then we can build it. My concern, as I always tell my clients, is this: I would rather know that, not about the price, but if I know that what size of the diamond they're looking for. Because if we start doing all the research, and then at the end, if I find out that they want a half a carat versus 3 carat, it makes a huge difference in the design. Because the most important thing I always tell them that is going to make the engagement really beautiful is the proportion. I can put a 3 carat diamond on a really, really, really thin band that is not going to look good. It doesn't matter if you spend $50,000. I can put a half a carat or 1 carat diamond on a beautiful mounting. It's going to make it look like a $50,000 ring. So it does matter that what the size is, but then, relating to the design of the ring. That is what is important, I always say.
Yeah. One thing I think I'll add, just in terms of lines of thought, I always suggest that you approach this kind of already establishing a budget in your head as to where you may want to be. Just, in terms of total number. Do you want to spend $5,000? Do you want to spend $2,500? Do you want to spend $25,000? Again, that just kind of gives us the ability to kind of work in reality in terms of what you can accomplish, and it's just going to be ultimately respectful of you and your time involved.
So obviously, other part of this subject is we know, all of us, we know in the real life who make the decision is the woman. Women make the most decision in the house, and especially in that situation. And mostly people, they live together, and these days before they get married, and it's nothing we can say. Oh, you want to get married? I want to get the ring. I'm gonna make a beautiful ring, and hey, honey, you're gonna marry me. So it's a little bit more than that. I think if you guys want to make that purchase, it's not just engagement ring, it's to get married, because literally you're going to say, would you marry me? Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. And interesting, I always laugh, as I'm finalizing or expediting a deal, that this is the cementing of that decision. Mm-hmm. This is you making that commitment to yourself that, yes, I really am ready to do this. Oh my God, I'm doing this. That's a huge deal. And I can see it on the look on guys' faces sitting across the desk from me that, oh my God, I really am taking this step. And this is what's important to me right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Maury, go ahead and what do you...
Yeah, I strongly believe in that when you get to the point that you are sitting in front of me, pretty much you already analyze everything, that you already made your decision. I wouldn't say 100%, but I would say like 95%. You're there. That's why you walk into the jewelry store. It's not like you're going to walk in the car dealership and say, hey, I just want to look at some Mercedes or BMW.
Some cool.
I just want to test drive it. I might not buy it today. I'll probably come back next year. But when it gets to this kind of decision, I think it's very, very deep that you already made your choice, because you're already with the girl. And then you know that pretty much you're compatible. I wouldn't say 100%, but 80, 90%. So once you make a decision, you come in and start talking to me about these details, I believe that you're already there. Mm-hmm. But it's my job to accomplish and finish the job. I still need your help, but then again, as Corey said, it's pretty much, we know that in life, it's, your partner is going to make most of the decision, but it's a compatibility, that how much trust you have in each other. It never could be 70-30. It's not always 50-50 for sure, but it could be 80-20, but still it's a matter of compromise.
Yeah. So I think that one of the thing is, especially if you guys living together, has to be some conversation as far as finance, how you're going to do it, what you're going to do. And sometimes I seen people, they say, we have to fix our home before we're going to get married. Like, we have to spend some money on the I don't know, redecorating or
Remodeling.
or moving to or buy our house first. And so I had many projects. Terry, you had many projects. They are buying a house,
Right.
at the same time they're buying a ring, and there is a little bit situation here. Remember that you're purchasing something very huge, and your credit is going to be in a lot of pressure, and maybe you want to finance your ring a little bit, and these two are coming clogged together.
Clash.
Is that true?
Yes.
Do you
Oh,
remember?
yes. Yeah. Yes. And it is something to keep in your head in terms of the priorities and what's going on in your life right now. I mean, do we need to remodel that kitchen right now before I do this, or do my experience in life, again as an old man, my experience in life is there's always going to be a kitchen that needs to be remodeled. My friends, listen to me. Always going to be a bathroom that needs remodeling. But reality is, she is going to have a huge impact on that decision and what your lineup of priorities should be, and so on and so forth. So but follow your heart.
So, on the other hand, what you really want to do in this situation, it's half of it is you and half the other half. And you have to bring it up, and you have to answer so many questions. Some of these questions we get, I'm going to just throw out, what about I design and go, do custom work, I create something and she doesn't like. Imagine you're going to spend so much money, you're going to create a beautiful ring, you're going to, go through all those stages, get a beautiful diamond, and what about she doesn't like? Terry, you go ahead.
Yeah, and again, I always think one of the first questions you need to ask yourself, and again, I think I mentioned this earlier, is your budget area. How much do I want to spend? I mean, what is doable here? Also, I mean, what is her finger size, and how do I deal with that? Is always a good question. How do I establish that?
More, do you want to ask a question? Answer a question? Add a question? More, do you want to add a question?
Yeah, I mean, I have clients that they've known each other for 6 years, 7 years, and then they ask me that, okay, now that I've finalized the whole thing, that I'm buying it, how should I propose? Because I've never done this before. What are your thoughts on it? Where should I do it? When should I do it? How long after when I purchase the ring I should do it? These are the type of things that goes, through their mind.
One other thing is come to me, sorry Terry, so often people ask me, how much should I expend and spend, but what is the fair amount? We have some people, they make, most of the people we are working with them, they already have finished the school, they establish landing a good job, and they're ready to move on to next step. So how much of the salary should I spend? So this is something you're going to calculate. So you guys spend together, she knows how much you're making, you know how much she make, what is the finance of how much, what's the fair amount? Any other question
Let's see. I think again, how am I going to go about this? What is my approach on this? Do I do tons of research on the internet? Do I just go to 100 different stores and talk to 100 different people? What is the process that the journey I'm going to take through the process itself? I think that's something to be careful with, because you can get easily wrapped up in it for extremely long periods of time if you get yourself lost. So keep your head in focus with the questions and the criteria you set yourself up with.
I want to add something here. When I was 23, I was in the army, and we had a officer who give us some advice always. I remember this. He was telling us, if you want to make a decision and you want to do something, you need to know minimum of 40% and a maximum of 70%. So let's say 100% is you're going to become a gemologist and you're going to become a designer. This is never going to happen. You buy one ring one time, you want to do it, maybe help your friend maybe in future by earring, but you don't want to become a designer and you don't want to become a gemologist. So when your information between 40% to 70% is the time you're gonna listen, learn everything, and then you pick the person you want to work with, and then you make decision. And some people, they want to do this by their own. They want to read online and press the shopping cart key, click and buy it. This is another way. So we're going to talk about pros and cons of everything. But pretty much, I think we are done for today. I appreciate you stay that long. We're going to have different episodes. Feel free to jump between each episode. Drop us an email. There's an email in the bottom. If you like to make any comment, go ahead and make a comment. So we're going to see if we can answer. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And go.
Have a terrific day.
Have a fantastic day.
This podcast is brought to you by Chicago's own Wedding Bands and Company, where we believe marriage is too important for ordinary jewelry.